sensitive topic that you really don't see discussed so much in public forum, and we've seen from a lot of the questions we got that this does strike a chord in many people in our community, and we're going to try to address it tonight. And the question is as follows. We received a number of questions, and we tried to consolidate it into a one question that will address all the different angles of the question. With the recent increased acceptance of LGBT in general society, we are seeing a more visible minority of Orthodox or formerly Orthodox identifying as LGBT. Is there anything that can be done on a communal level to address the needs of those individuals and to make them feel like they belong as part of our community without being seen as supporting behavior antithetical to Torah? Who would like to address it first?
Go ahead.
I did everyone first so far. Go ahead.
My strategy of hanging back and striking so far has done me well. So. I don't know.
So I myself, I got many comments and emails and even a couple of phone calls from people who are gay, from religious people. I've always tried to be accessible, and I always try to create the type of environment in my classroom, with my family, and with the klal, that people can come and ask questions and discuss things openly. There are many components to this. I think last thing first, in terms of like what can we do as a community. I think part of it is to have in appropriate forums, in an appropriate way, to have discussions about this. But at the very core, it's extremely complex. It's complex on many different levels, including theologically, including Jewish hashkafa. Just to try to make it real, probably 12, 15 years ago, maybe even more, I received an email from a young man. He wrote the type of email address that would get my attention, and he asked if he can come over to the house. We went for a long walk, and he basically told me that he just returned from Eretz Yisrael, from Israel, and he was in his mid-20s, low 20s, 23, 24, something like that. His friends are starting to date. He said, I've been gay from, I'm not attracted to people of the opposite gender. I haven't attracted to boys. I've never engaged in any relationship. I never acted upon it, but this is the way I've been this way from the beginning. A lovely, charming, sincere person. And he basically asked me, he says, look, Rabbi, I'm really torn. Should I start? People my friends are starting to get married. They're wedding mishaduchim. My parents want me to start dating. How could I do this to another human being? How could I fool a young lady when it's just not right for me? And the saddest thing about it was, he mentioned, halfway through the conversation, we walked and talked for several hours, and what he said was, he says, look, Rabbi, I know you can't help me. I have to figure this out myself. He said, but it's comforting to know that I can come to someone with a rabbi before his name, who won't judge me, who won't look at me, who won't make any comments or I'm not one to make a wisecrack, but who won't judge me and allow me to be able to talk to you at least, and to know that I can come back and speak again. So the theological questions are very complex. Why did God make me this way? What am I supposed to do? I found myself nothing to do with this. We lost 3 mothers in our yeshiva over a period of 12 years. And we lost a beloved resource room teacher to a car crash. I said goodnight to her at 4:15. She was never dead at 6 o'clock. Now, I'm a big believer in letting children talk, so we got grief counselors in. to speak to the kids, but I went in and talked to them and allowed them to speak about their questions. They prayed so hard for this woman. How could it be done? How could God do this to somebody? What are my classmate who lost his mother? Like, these are the real. Moshe Rabbeinu asked Hashem, I want to understand your ways. This is what he meant, not the issue of gay thing, but I'm talking about an issue of a challenge, a theological challenge. I do believe in the entire Torah. My father died at 3 years old. I still have a hard time getting my hands around that one. But I do believe in I'm a Shem Torah mitzvahs. This issue especially for family members, to be supportive of someone who comes out publicly that they're gay, or even privately informs their parents. It is certainly becoming more common. There is a public policy issue to that that I don't feel qualified to discuss. But I do think it's important for us to be able to listen, to be able to empathize and to understand the tremendous challenge that these people face. That this young man told me towards the end, he said, I have a bigger sign than Yosef HaTzadik did. Yosef HaTzadik was tested one time. He said, I'm being tested for my whole life. He wants to remain religious. He wants to be observant. He wants to stay in the community. He loves Torah. He loves to learn. Now what does he do? What's going to happen? It's so challenging. And I must point out before I turn over to my two colleagues, I must point out that what's frightening to me is that the suicide rate in the general population among LGBT young adults is significantly higher than it is in the general population. And there was a terrifying study in Israel done recently that the Orthodox LGBT kids, young adults, have a much higher rate than the secular ones, suicide rate. So it's the mental health component of it, and I certainly think it's something that really demands serious thought. I don't think there's one human being that has an answer to all of this, but it is becoming more prevalent, and I do think that we need to really give some thought to empathize with the people, to at least allow them the opportunity to come speak to us about it as they try to sort things out for themselves.